morning, everyone, and welcome to Viva Cafe con Leche. I am the badass Buddha, Lori Monaco, coming to you from a chilly but sunny southern Connecticut, where spring is in the air. The temperature, not so much, but it's definitely in the air. We had our first day of spring yesterday. We brought in our spring equinox, and the birds are, it sounds like spring. So we're very much looking forward to it. I think the temperatures are going to go up here very soon. So it was a great start to the week. I mean, it was cold, but it was still very, very sunny out. So we're here to bring you sunshine today for those, and warmth with our cafe con leche, with our cups. There we go, our Viva cups. So good morning, everyone.
Good morning, good morning. Buenos días, mi gente. Aquí con La Margarita, your gladiator guru. Well, it's funny because here in the Sunshine State, it is sunny, but it's 46 degrees this morning.
Cold.
It's the highest to be 73. Oh, no, I'm lying. 79 by 4. But, yeah, I love that you said the equinox of spring was yesterday. Is it the 22nd already? What? I don't know what day
it is. 21st. No, sometimes it comes on as oh my goodness.
Wow.
I need to fix something here. We are on the wrong. Hold on a second. We need to put it on here. Let's see if I can fix this. I just realized that we were going live on the wrong YouTube channel. I just noticed that. I'm like, why is that? Okay, so I'll leave that there. So good morning, Milagros and Tiffany in the house. Good morning. Good morning.
Buenos días.
Yeah, it varies, I think. I don't know exactly what it is, but it varies anywhere between like the first day is of a season is either like the 20th or the 21st or the 22nd. I'm not 100% sure how that works because I thought it was actually the 21st, but then they said it was yesterday. So, yeah.
No. I mean, I just sometimes don't know what day I'm living. All I know is Tuesday and Thursdays I'm on Viva because I work through the weekend, so I don't have like a stop and a start. In the slave trade called work. So. Yeah, it gets very confusing. But no, that's good. I just love that word, the equinox and the summer solstice and the winter solstice. I like it. I like the way it arouses my tongue to say certain kind of letters.
Yes, we've both had conversation where arousal is very necessary for us. So should I share that with the tribe?
I would love to hear that again.
Would you like me to share with the tribe about my epiphany with?
I said, yeah, would love. Go ahead.
So most of you know that
Milagros would get a kick out of it.
Yeah, Milagros would get a kick out of this. So so we were, Gladiator Guru and I are pretty open about our menopause journey. And mine officially started I think it was April or May of 2021. So I was officially in menopause. No looking back, absolutely loving it, had no issue with it whatsoever. I think perimenopause, I was at my worst with my hot flashes and mood swings and cravings. But when I lost all that weight and I cut all that sugar out of my diet, that made a huge difference, right? So one little tidbit, though, started to arise, and this had been going on for years, where, you sneeze and you laugh too hard and you pee a little bit on yourself, right? And I started to notice that if I went to like a trampoline park, with my kids, I couldn't hold it in, like, I mean, I'm not talking like flat out peeing on myself, but so anyway, I can't believe I'm going to say this on the air, but so anyway, it was getting progressively worse, like just getting progressively worse to the point where I was getting like, okay, this is ridiculous. Like, I feel like I am not going to be one of those ladies that's wearing those, Depends. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm 53.
You
I
just
just,
don't want to do it. Yeah.
I don't want to do it. Right. I'm 53 and I'm like, I'm too active. I don't want to be wearing these. Right. So I decided to get, like, I wanted to get pelvic floor muscle work done, right? So it's like a therapy where they actually help you strengthen the pelvic floor muscles. It's like beyond doing Kegel exercises. So I called this one place. I needed a referral. So I said, all right, let me go to my OBGYN. It's time anyway to get checked. So I could get the referral from them. So I go and I start to tell the doc, and he's fabulous. I love this guy. I've gone to him for years, and he's just fantastic. He gives you so much time. He talks to you. He's like, literally, you're in there for like 30 to 45 minutes with him, just chatting and getting an exam. So he's examining me because I told him what I need and I told him what was going on. He's examining me. So he's examining me and he goes, oh yeah. He goes, you have a prolapsed bladder and a prolapsed urethra. So it's like, and so what that means, it's just kind of like loose and hanging down a little bit. It's shifted. He goes, so that would make sense. It's like, he goes, plus you have a cystocele. He said, it's like, so it's making you feel like you have to go to the bathroom. I said, okay. So he goes, but let me check it another way. So I had me stand up and he's going, okay. He goes, yep, it definitely drops down further. He goes, now I want you to, he was like having me cough. He was having me whatever. He goes, now I want to show you something. He pushes in and he goes, okay, now cough now. And I was like, what a difference. Like I could feel the difference. He says, yeah, because I'm giving it the support. He's like, you could, I said, the minute he did that, it felt better. Like, I mean, like actually felt better. Not that it was bothersome to me, but it was a noticeable difference. Right. So I was very happy. He gave me the referral. I knew what was wrong. We had a diagnosis. So that helps with the referral and insurance. I go home, no big deal, right? And I'm going about my day. Then I go about my next day and I said, oh my God, I just realized something. I haven't really peed on myself at all. Like I haven't like coughed, sneezed, nothing, and it was getting to the point where I wasn't even doing anything. I would just move a certain way. So I started to pay attention to this. By the end of the week, I was like, this is wild. Like I have nothing has happened, right? So I tell Gladiator Guru and I said, Gladiator Guru, I said, I've come up with a theory. I said, I think my vagina was depressed. And I think that just that little bit of action made it much happier. And so it like tightened everything up because that's the only thing that I can explain the reason behind this, because it has been so different since he palpated me, meaning like he was, messing around in there and pushing on it. So we laughed about this. I said, but I'm like, I wonder if that really is something that's truly accurate. I wonder if the vagina can get depressed. So Milagros, we're throwing that out at you. What are your thoughts on that? To see if that is possible. And that if by giving it some attention, you're on mute, sweetie, you're on mute. You're on mute, Gladiator Guru. There we go. What'd you say?
I say either way, something good still happened. Good morning, Arlene and Darlene. It's I think that's phenomenal. When you texted me that, it sounds better when you say it. But I think it is. I think sometimes we come on, we're the breeders of life. The vagina needs maintenance. Yes, the vagina gets sad when use. Woo!
Yes.
Thank you, Milagros.
but we do Milagros.
So it's beautiful.
That might need to be a conversation that we need to have Milagros on with. We need to talk about sad vaginas, getting older. We have this idea that, see, this is an accountability piece too. We have an idea sometimes that we put this thing in our heads that we're too old, that we can't do, or we let ourselves go, like we get out of shape, so we can't get in certain positions. And then it's not as much fun for us anymore. And then the worst is when we sit there and say, yeah, I don't have that sex drive. I hear that a lot with women in menopause. And I don't disagree, because hormones do play a role. But I think that once you get going, it actually stimulates the drive, right? So like if you don't even feel like you're in the mood, just do it anyway. It's sort of like fake it till you make it, but with sex. To me, it's worth it all day long and give it a try. What do you think? Fake it till you
I
make it.
think, yeah, I think, being celibate, of course. This year is going on 4 years. Let's not make it to 4 years.
Yeah,
But
mine is.
I don't think about it, right? But if I see a movie and it's like an highly intense, whether they're making out a certain way or the sounds, yes, you get aroused of something like that. And I think that it is something. I think, especially in our age, we need something that's stimulating, that makes us feel like we can climb the walls. Like I mean, wh- when you're highly sexual and then it stops, something happens. Something must happen, like mentally, emotionally, and then your body starts aching because you don't have the natural oils to lubricate it that happen when you have sex. I think it is a whole conversation, Milagros, that we're gonna have you on for.
All right. Well, with that, let's talk about. We're going to get into more accountability. We only have what? How many days left for accountability do we have? We have Thursday. We have 2 whole weeks left of accountability. And this time, the last 2 weeks, what we're focusing on is utilizing accountability, like really embracing it and owning it and understanding the power behind accountability. So it's going to be an exciting conversation for the next 2 weeks because we're leading into this is the end of the first quarter. We're leading into the next quarter, which is all about what's possible. We're going to be talking about behaviors, beliefs, capabilities. So we're leading all up to that. Okay. Oh, listen, Milagros wrote something. The true stimulation helps. That's the reason you need masturbate. Yeah, you know what? And I needed a little bit more than that. I got to tell you, because that has not been the issue. I promise you that has not been the issue. That I've been working on that piece of it, but I think it's all the, it's the partnership kind of deal. So, but don't worry, Milagros. I do not disappoint. I have been following suit with, I'm very big fan of masturbation. So we're all good. All right. So, let's do our mantra and let's set our intention for today. And then we'll get going with the conversation before I have to go out to the bus stop. So, intention, be intentional today. Set your intention for whatever it may be and just sit with it and make it happen. So make your day intentional today and
Filled with gratitude.
mm,
Fill it with gratitude. Be intentionally grateful for everything you do, for everything you see, for
yes,
everything, for everyone you have in your life right now, because they're in your life because you chose them to be. Remember that.
yes, good, the good and the bad, right? They're there for a reason. And we want to also, with the idea of gratitude, we also want to thank everybody very much for liking, sharing, following, subscribing. We really greatly appreciate that. We also want to thank people for purchasing Her Badass Story 3. It's been a great win for the authors, for all of us. And we want to just make sure that, we really do appreciate the tribe. We appreciate all the support you give us. This is going to be a very big year for Viva and for Gladiator Guru and the Badass Buddha. This is the year that we're going to be releasing a lot of really cool things. Not that we want to just hit your bank accounts here. It's really because this has been being created and brewing in a good sense, like a good cup of coffee. It's something that we believe is going to be really wonderful for everybody. And even in-person event. We want to try to do an in-person event this year. So it's a matter of just figuring out when and where. So good morning, Chenille. And yes, I spoke to Cindy yesterday. It was a wonderful conversation. She's an amazingly strong young woman, I will tell you.
Oh, you did good, good.
Yeah, yep. So, all right, our mantra. Here we go. Say it loud, say it proud. I am a disruptor.
I am a disruptor.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am unapologetically courageous.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am spiritually grounded.
I am magically orgasmic.
Ole,
And I keep it real.
all day, no doubt.
All right. Woohoo. Okay, so today's conversation is who rules your world? We're talking about power of accountability. It is the true power taking control of your life. So this is talking about, okay, really, let's be honest with ourselves. Who really does rule your life? If you do not take accountability for your shit, then you are not truly ruling your life. That's the bottom line. We've talked about that, right? And so if you are okay with other people running your life, then we're done here. There's no conversation. But if you are sick and tired of your life being a certain way, then you have got to take ownership. And we want to talk about today of why accountability is so powerful. Like what does it do to you mentally, emotionally, spiritually? What does it do to even the people around you that are part of your story, that are a part of your life? So how do we want to start the conversation, Gladiator Guru? What do you think?
From the middle.
All right, go for it.
That's what we do. Who does rule? I'm sorry, I have like this weird pain in my back. Who does rule your world? As she was saying, every choice is up to us. We said some great things when we were on the phone yesterday, but I don't have that notebook with me right now.
And I don't remember.
But the thing is that it's your world. The operative word in the title for today's show is your. That's what it is. And to take accountability, it's not about I had no choice. I was in this situation. It's still you. When I think one of the first conversations the badass Buddha and I had over something personal. She was talking about something, and I answered her back. I don't know. How did it make you feel? What did you learn from it? I don't know.
That was that text message that I wanted to punch you.
Yeah. And
that phenomenal.
And that's when we first talked about anything outside of just caminana, ajusta tu corona and stuff like that. And what happens is when you're practicing, even for myself, it's like the wind almost gets knocked out of you just for a quick second, and you lose your balance and you take 2 steps backwards. Because accountability is a pretty word to say. It makes you feel important, I guess, when you're in a conversation where you must take accountability. But when we do take accountability, it's a seesaw, right? Sometimes it's simple. Oh, I got this. And other times it's like the weight is too much for us to bear. But it's who rules your world? And so what order would you put your world in about ruling your world? That's also very important. Me, I'll start, and then you can go, Laura. Me, it's God, me, and then everyone else. When I look at it in those 3 tiers, everyone else, of course, your kids come first after you. Then it's easier to determine who are you accountable. You're all you got at the end of the day besides God. And you're all your kids have. So you better make it right with you. And decisions, who says decisions are wrong or right? I can make a decision for me that fits me like a glove. And everyone, my mother, father, sister, brother can tell me that I am making the worst decision of my life. But you feel it in your gut, like you know it in the core of your soul, that this is what you are going to do because it feels right with you. And you go ahead and you do it. They're angry with you, but you succeed or you fail, because in failure is just what? Badass. Success turned inside out.
Yes.
So when you hold yourself accountable to what you believe in and decisions that you're making, and although the naysayers are saying blah, 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 sometimes you got to look at the naysayers. Like, how come they don't see what I see? And when you believe in God, then what is it? The things are always getting in the way. So you have to determine what is best for your life. take people's opinions into accountability as well, because some people really, really want the best for you, but they don't share your vision. So they can't see to the extent that you feel when it's something you have to either eliminate or bring into your world. So
Can I
with
jump
that
in?
being said, the bottom line is who rules your world is you and your faith, right? Because everyone around you, how many of us have wanted to do something? It felt right. We were prepared for it. But because someone like your mother, father, sister, brother, husband, wife told you, I don't think that's a good idea. And you didn't do it. And somewhere tucked in the corner of your heart, you live in regret. Go ahead,
Right.
badass.
But then you blame them when it was you that listened to it, you know? I have, oh, sorry, Yaditza, I spelled, no, I didn't. Yeah,
Iritza.
I spelled the name wrong. I'm sorry. I don't have my glasses on. And I typed it wrong. So I apologize. It is about, the thing is that when we don't take accountability for something, we're playing the victim. Like we're basically saying, I'm giving you my control and it's not my, if it goes wrong, it's not my fault. You did that, whatever. But when you decide, like you said something really key, Gladiator Guru, you said that there will be people out there that will support you, but it's not their vision. So they don't understand it. They will say they want the best for you and they might mean it. Some don't, but they might mean it, but they still can't quite understand it because that's not their vision. And this is where the accountability piece comes in, because when you're accountable to yourself, you're accountable to everything about you, including your vision, and you have clarity with the vision, because you'll be able to say to the individual, I don't need you to support me, even if you don't understand my vision. I just need you to love me and be there. That's it. And you're very clear on what you can ask because you're accountable to yourself, So you understand that if you're saying something and your point is not getting across, is it that the individual just can't comprehend it, because that's a possibility, or is it that you're not being clear? Either way, you're going to be accountable to it. If I'm not clear, then what do I need to do to get myself clear? If it's the other individual, then my accountability piece is there's no point. There's no point in saying anything else because they are not able to hear it. The only people that you could be accountable to, or the only person, is you. It's the only person you need to be accountable to. And the beauty is that once you take full 100% accountability of yourself, you don't have to answer to anybody else, because you don't have to be accountable to other people.
Mm-mm.
People will put what they think you should do, how you should act, how you should be. It is their opinion, and they will put it on you. And then they will make little comments, passive aggressive, sometimes assertive and aggressive. And they will make comments to say, oh, well, you're kind of like this. And, and if you are behaving a certain way, you say, you're right. That's true. That's not true. That's I'm not saying that's not true, but you get to explain, well, and if you want to, this is why, I've learned over the last couple of years, especially, that there's certain people that I want in my life, and there's certain people that I want at a distance, and there's certain people that just I don't need, they served a purpose in my life. I served a purpose in theirs. It was great. I'm grateful for what I learned and what I gained from them, but they're not a person I would want to hang out with, because I know myself. I've learned myself. I am a big, big fan of accountability. And one of the things that drives me nuts is to be around people who aren't, like, to be around people who really just aren't accountable for their shit. So here's the deal. I can't tell them who to be. I respect them, and there's no judgment for who they are. That's who they are. I choose not to be around those people. But when these individuals come around and they say things to me or to other people that I'm a specific way, that I'm a standoffish person, or I'm behaving poorly, I don't own it at all. I know my behavior. I'm like 100% accountable. I know when I'm an asshole. I know when I'm a bitch. I know when I'm friendly. I know when I'm loving. And I know. And just because I am not doing what you want me to do, that is your your observation is that I'm being a bitch, but I could say it right back. I could say, well, you're not behaving nicely to me either. So who's accountable? Oh, is it because I'm behaving that way to you? That's your response. Okay, whatever way you want to look at it. The bottom line is I have clarity of who I am. And with that clarity comes ownership of what comes out of my mouth, my actions, my inactions, my facial expressions, my body language, and I own it. I own it. It's not always easy. Even as much as I've been working on myself for years, it's not always easy. But I will tell you that the most powerful thing about it has been the freeing piece of this. This has been wonderful for my spirit. It's been wonderful for my peace. And it's been wonderful for the fact that there's no doubt in my mind who I am. And I am always accountable for that person, the good or the bad. So when someone comes up to me and says, so and so said this about you or said you did this, I'll take a step back, listen to what they said, and I'll own it. Yeah, actually, I did do that. They were correct. Or actually, that's not true. That they're making stuff up. That's not true. Because I know exactly who I am. I don't hide anything. I know exactly who I am. And not hiding makes me very accountable. See, when you hide yourself, when you pretend you're somebody, like Gladiator Guru is always talking about, your truth. And if you are not willing to step in that truth, you are not willing to be accountable to yourself. That's the bottom line. Would you agree, Gladiator Guru? Because I got to go out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. People, we're all storytellers. You got the storytellers of ancestral rights, right? That they share, they learn, and they add on to what you've already learned, and you share. So it's a legacy for the verbal storytellers. I love them. And then you got the storytellers who rush and tell a story and modify it to fit them for their sake and not yours. Well, it's up to you to have total trust, the cultivation of self-trust in yourself, because people will say and do things that will rock your boat. And as she said, it's not, of course, we're going to get offended when people lie on us, because we don't come from that space. And what I've learned how to control my world is, and what I've learned, but it doesn't fall into practice all the time, is when I'm angry, I have to learn how to not open my mouth, because once I open my mouth, I lose total control. So, I don't want to have total control of everything about me, because every scenario is going to be different in my life, right? I just want to be able to have a solid foundation to stand on, to walk on, to run on. I want to have my boundaries firm, and at all times protect my energy. Arm's distance, right? Arm's distance. So that I'm always centered in my life. And that way I have, 180, 360 view, peripheral and all, of what's going on around me, who's walking around me. Because we cannot control what anyone does, anyone, not even our children. But we can always be firm, walking in our truth, standing in our beliefs, and be able to identify what we need to eliminate and embrace what is there for our benefit. Because there is a difference, and sometimes it gets all mushed in together. And that's where you got to sit down in the midst of your world and decide and acknowledge what is and what should no longer be. And that is how you control your world. You have to sit with self. You have to pray. When we put out prayers every night or throughout the day, I'm always talking to God. He's tired of me. You must sit in your silence. You must sit and try to get some understanding. Tap into your intuition. And then go about your day. So in the evening, you're asking for something. You're praying, Father God, please help me with this. Father God, can you please, blah, blah, blah. Then in the morning, try to sit with self after you show gratitude that you woke up this day. And try to sit, or even when you're making your café con leche, it's just you and the sound of either your coffee pot or my colador, the water boiling, foaming the milk. That's still sitting in silence because that's something you're enjoying to do. It's you and you alone. And anything can come up. Your mind should be clear. You're just focused on your taza de café being perfect. And you be able to feel or to hear, like from your soul, what is going on. That is how you rule your world, where you're constantly present in every aspect of it. Anger comes from a whole different place. And we can talk about that on another show because anger isn't always losing control. It stems from a lot of different areas that were forgotten or abandoned from our youth, from our teenage years, those crazy years, from our younger selves. And it's gonna pop off. I welcome my anger because it is me walking in my truth. I don't I don't just pop off at anything, but you know what? When I need to, I do. I don't hesitate. I don't question where am I, who's here, who's with me, who's gonna see me. No. Never lived that kind of mantra of, you know, it's not the right time or place. I've always lived, if not now, when. So I just gotten better at smiling through some of the bullshit that doesn't need my attention. Where in my past, anything that triggered me to be upset, a kind of look you gave, a word you said that was insulting, now I just smile like it's not worth it. So and that in itself is an art when you can do that. And for those who know me, know that me doing that in my today, yeah, I should get a master's degree in that. But what happened is I no longer wanted outside anything to affect my beautiful me. Because to rule, uh, to organize, to eliminate, to do all of that came later in life for me. So the badass Buddha and I, we're close in age. I'm older than her, but it's still we do these so that if any of you were where we were, are where we are, which is like empowering, or if you're younger than us or you're at a stage where everything's birthing forward, we're here to encourage you. We're here to tell you, you know what? Keep those firecrackers lit up your ass and break away from everything and anyone that no longer serves you. You know why? Because we are who we set out to be. We're all born with kindness in our hearts. We're all born trained and learning to say please and thank you. Where the fuck did that go? At
Yeah.
what age in our lives did we stop saying please and thank you? When did we become so what's that word? Important for our own panties. Like where did all of this go? And I think we need to bring that back. When someone calls you and I'm guilty, don't say what, say yes or what is, whatever. And then say please and thank you. And don't hold the door open for a total stranger that didn't ask you to hold the door open if you're only expecting to be acknowledged. Go do that
Yeah.
shit with people who know you. Because if you hold the door and I'm walking through, my mind could be 50,000 miles away. I could have just overspent in the store. Or I could have invited one person out to lunch and they came with two more people. Now I'm stuck paying there. It could have been a million and one things. But you chose to hold that damn door open. That's how you rule the world, your world. Don't do things that you're going to have an expectation of people to fill a void for you.
Yep, absolutely.
You need to control your world to the point where you're doing things for you and anything else is extra. That's that extra layer of icing on your cake. When you look at it like that, then if I can't provide certain emotion stimulations for myself, then of course I'm going to seek the people who can meet me there. Not everybody's for you, but you're all you have. You're going to always be for yourself. So all of this, who rules your world, to me, I'm going to use a word how I take this, and then the badass Buddha will share hers. Choose wisely. That's how you rule your world. Discernment. Making wise choices that benefit you and your loved ones. Because remember, whatever we absorb, we share with those we love. So whatever we're absorbing throughout our day, we bring it home.
Yes.
If you got little kids, that's what you're doing. So in order to rule your world, rule your very existence. So if it's a battle you have no business being in, I'm going to give you a secret. I had a battle beautifully. With certain situations you would have never let go in your past. You smile and you let those motherfuckers know you don't bother me. You would have caught me last year. This time last year would have been a whole different scenario. But today, you have a good day now and you leave. Because you don't need, and I'm talking to Margie, I'm talking to Margarita. So it's a conversation we have. Because we don't need to be involved in every single battle.
Nope. I think Margie froze. Okay. She froze. So I'll jump in. There was something very key that she had said, that she was talking about when you take accountability for yourself, you are stepping in saying, this is me. I did this. I take ownership of that. You take complete and full control of your life. In the beginning, it's not easy because a lot of times you're taking accountability for F-ups that you've already done. And it's in the past, true enough, but you have to admit it. You have to come back. You don't have to necessarily admit it to all the people that you've wronged, because sometimes it's not easy to do that, or it's impossible. Sometimes they've passed on or they're not in your life anymore. So you can always write a letter. You can just write it in a journal, but to admit that and say, this is what I'm accountable for. The other thing that I've learned from experience is that when you decide to be accountable for past bad choices, people don't receive them very well. And you have your goal is to have no expectation, because you are just doing what you need to do for yourself. How they receive it is not, you can't control that. It just reopens wounds and it bothers them. And so that's why they don't receive it very well. But for others, they can take it as a sign, as it's open season for me to go off on you and tell you what I really think of you, and be prepared for that. Just stand there stoically, own it, do your thing. But then going forward, just keep being accountable, keep being in control of yourself. And it gets easier as you go, because the more you know yourself and the more you work on yourself, if there's certain pieces of your life that you don't like, if there's certain behaviors that you don't like, you got to own them. And once you own them, that's saying that I know they're there. Remember, we talked about awareness. We talked about acceptance. We talked about accountability. We talked about acknowledgement, and now accountability. So those 4 things are so powerful, because you're basically standing up going, okay, yep, I realize I've done this. This was not great. And we're talking about the bad stuff. We're not talking about the easy stuff, the good stuff. We're talking about the challenging stuff. Yeah, this is not great. So I'm going to own it. I can't go back in time and change things. But from this point going forward, this is who I'm choosing to be. And this is what I want to do with my life. And this is how I want to live my life. And then be accountable to yourself for that time, from that point going forward, and own. Anybody comes back to you from your past and said, you used to be like that. Yep, I did. I used to be, check this out. When I was in my 20s, I owned a animal rescue, and I had it out of my house. This was when I was married to my first husband. And at one time, we had like 20 dogs. And they lived in and out of the house. We had a fixer-upper house. It was awful. I look back and think to myself, God, I wasn't that's not even the person I'm not that person anymore. I'm a dog lover and I'm a big fan of rescue and all that stuff. But the way I lived my life is so not the person I am now. And it's interesting because every so often I'll run into somebody that I hadn't seen, or that was from that time period in my life, or somebody in my family circle will say, remember when you used to, and they say it with like such, like that was disgusting, like you were gross, like that was a horrible way to live, like trying to shame me. And I'm like, yep, yeah, I can't believe that was me. I can't believe I lived my life that way because it's so not the person I am now, you know? It's annoying sometimes because some people will do it purposefully. They're saying it, like I said, the shame. But because I've learned to just own my stuff, I'm like, yep, and I just don't feed into it because I'm not attached to that anymore. I'm not attached to the emotions that it goes with. I'm also not attached to the individuals in that sense in what they're saying. And the moment that I stepped in and took that power back and took control of my life, and it made me better at doing my life. Like I didn't make as many bad choices because I knew that in that moment going in, what choice I was making, I had to be accountable to. So I play this inner monologue, or inner dialogue, whatever way you want to say it. I play it in my head and say, okay, is this the person that I want to show? Is this who I want to be? Sometimes it's in the immediate. You can't always be that person. You can't always be like on point. You have to, sometimes you're very reactive, but it's one of those things where you again own it. Reactiveness sometimes happens in the moment, especially when we're emotionally vested in something. But if you did not behave well for your standards, then you need to be accountable to it. Let's see. My sister said, hi, Lee. My sister said, you were very young back then. And your focus was saving all those beautiful dogs. Thanks, Lee. Leah saying she's putting it nicely. True. I mean, I don't regret, and I don't feel bad about my choices. But yeah, my house was gross. My house was disgusting. I put all my focus into saving the animals and not taking care of the things that needed to be taken care of. Of course, I wasn't the only one there doing this. It was also my partner at the time. So I take accountability for my piece and allowing that as well, because it was extreme. But looking back though, it's like, what did I learn from that? That's the key. There's nothing wrong with looking back at your life and saying, and when you're taking accountability, saying, oh my gosh, I can't, like there was too much. I made too many bad choices, or I made a lot of mistakes. You know how I feel about mistakes, but I made too many bad choices. It's overwhelming. Again, if it's hard for you to be accountable to the other people, then just be accountable to yourself. Write a letter to the individuals, and keep it in a journal. And maybe at some point in your life, you would want to say hi to them, not hi to them. You want to say, share with what you wrote, but don't feel the pressure, take baby steps to be accountable. And like I said, people will only receive what they're able to receive. When you get people that really love you, they will appreciate your accountability, and they will, it's not saying that they're going to be open arms. If you did something that to them specifically, it could reopen a wound that they thought they had healed. But in the end, these individuals will also see what you're doing, and they will be appreciative of it because it helps them heal. The people that resist it are the people that live their lives in a lie. They don't want to hear it. They twist it. They throw more stuff at you. They shame you. They guilt you, or they attempt to do that. And you have to be steadfast and not, regret is really a useless feeling because you can't change the past. So accountability allows you to be brave and step up and say, okay, I own this. I own this. And again, big focus on the negative stuff, because that is the hardest thing to be accountable to. I mean, we want to be accountable to all the good stuff in our lives every day, all day long, And with that, you also want to share accountability, because if something really great does happen, you don't want to take all the credit if you weren't the sole person that, was part of this. Like if you were part of something, you're going to take accountability for what you played. It's just like a team doing something together and creating this phenomenal product. And then one person saying, oh yeah, I'm really proud of the work that I did. And, and if it wasn't for me doing what I did, we would have never gotten to where we are. Be proud and be accountable for what the role that you played, but also the fact that you played it as a team, So that's another little tidbit too. I guess Gladiator Guru was having some serious problems with her internet. I know she had said that it was slow prior to her getting on. So I don't know if she's going to be able to jump back and join us, but I'm hoping that she does. And so anyway, there she is. Yay. She's coming. Yay. You came back on.
One of the things to rule your world is the scary thought when we no longer have internet. And because there was no reason, my phone just started acting right. So yes, here I am, mi gente.
So I was talking about how when we take accountability, that sometimes the power of accountability is the fact that we are taking back control of our lives, that we're owning the good and the bad of our lives, not just focusing on the good stuff. And that each day that you're accountable to yourself, that it gets easier to do. And you make less poor choices by being accountable, because you're going in knowing ahead of time that you will be accountable for this, like that whatever choice you're making, you're going to own it. And I think that's really the biggest thing, is a lot of people who are not accountable will make choices knowing that it's going to be hurt somebody, knowing that it's going to cause problems, but they don't care because all they care about is themselves. And then they will sneak it, they will lie, they will twist it around. And then when it's time for them to be accountable, they will use the famous phrase and say, oh, well, I made a mistake. I was in a bad way. I was this. They will make every excuse in the book. And when you make an excuse, you are not accountable. If you say, no, I purposely made this choice because I wasn't happy with my life. Things weren't going well. I needed to make a big change. And you step up and say it right in the beginning. That is being accountable, as opposed to sneaking around and lying. So the power, if you have lived a life of lack of accountability or minimal accountability, don't be afraid of it. Just start today. Start making it happen. There will be discomfort. All right. But nothing great comes out of something that's not this, birthing a child is very uncomfortable, but something beautiful happens when you birth a child. So there's not, I don't know why we think that great things come out of things that are easy, because that's really not the case.
There's nothing great in being tepid. You don't want hot tea to be warm. There's nothing great that comes out of being mediocre. So the choice for you is, are you going to be fabulous with the one life that you have been gifted to be in this world? One life. That's all we have. Okay, so people like, everybody dies. Yes, but not everybody lives. So why don't we turn that narrative around? And instead of saying, well, everybody dies, well, let's try to speak to those that are still here and remind them that it's time to start living how they want to live, not how they have to cater or tailor their life so that people around them won't be offended or won't get upset with them. And so I think that's how we hold ourselves accountable to. Again, not everybody's going to like our choices, our decisions, especially if you're just now coming into yourself, where you're starting to take the lead. You're playing the role in your movie, which is your life. So a lot of people are not going to think that you have the qualifications to take the lead in your life, because for so many years.
Oh my God, that is such a good point. Say that again. Say it one more time.
Of course.
Say it one more time, what you just said.
Many will not believe that you are qualified to take the lead role in your life.
In your own life.
And the thing is that you have, unbeknownst to you at the time, you have given that power away. Well, it's
Yes.
time to sit in peace and invite your power back. Don't take it back because you're not in a war with your power. Invite it back to you. Because now there's a certainty within you that knows that you can break all barriers that have placed you in the sadness room, in the neglected room, in the disappointment room. So now you're ready. Remember, you have the key to unlock all those doors, walk through them, and lock them the fuck up. We're always going to feel sadness. We're going to feel lonely. We're going to feel all of those emotions that have been imposed upon us because we let other people rule our worlds. So bring it back, invite your power back in such a positive way that you're going to be accountable for allowing other people to control you, but you're also going to allow that with a smile on your face, because when you do the right thing for you, even though it's uncomfortable, because now you got to admit you were wrong, it feels good because what you're doing, you're back in the lead. Okay, now you're seven nights on Broadway in the lead. Okay, before the final curtain falls off on that show, but you already got a gig that came out of this one because of your confidence, because of your assuredness of your craft, of who you are, because with the grace that you walk in knowing I am, then the right people will come into your life. So it's not about you cutting everybody around you. Those people will fall off. When you grow into you, they will fall off because a lot of people can't see, don't want to be around you growing into your own, or you taking back that crown and putting it back on, because who's the queen of your world? Bitch, I'm the king of my world.
I'm the king, queen, princess. I'm also the court jester. I'm both. I'm all of it.
Mm-hmm.
The beauty is that it's time. You know, you were talking about how most people go through their lives not even living. You know, Les Brown has a quote, says something like, people die, most people, they quote, die like, when they're in their 70s or 80s, but a lot of people died at 25 because they just never lived their life. They physically died at 75, but they technically died at 25 because they didn't live the life that they were meant to live. And it's never too late to start, and it's never too late to be brave. And if people are coming at you where you're starting to own your stuff and you're being accountable, if people are coming at you and they're bringing up all the stuff that you did, they're throwing it at you. This is part of the battle. You've got to learn to be more agile, sort of like in the Matrix. You just got to be able to move out of the way for those things, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. People, but like I said, wounded people wound people. And if these individuals have been wounded as a result of some of the things that you've done, or similar to it, maybe it wasn't that something that you did, but it was connected to it, they're going to lash back. And you have to know that you just have to take it with grace, and you're stronger than you know, and then get past that. And you will figure out the people who will let that go and will stay within your circle, or the people that you got to boot, that they no longer serve you. Like Gladiator Guru said, these are the individuals that are not going to help you grow, because they themselves are so wounded, and you taking accountability for yourself is not going to allow them to let their story play out in the way that they want it to. And I have learned over the last 6 years, I refuse to take accountability for somebody else's bull. I refuse to take accountability for somebody else's story. I am not going to play their game. I did it for 45 years of my life, almost 46, and no more, because You get to play and I don't, and I'm supposed to be a player in your world. I don't think so. And I'm not telling you to be a player in my world. I'm saying you play you, but when you're in my world, you respect me. Otherwise, there's no point in you being here at all.
Yes, I think we have to hold our lives, our spiritual flesh existence to a very high standard. We need to stop belittling ourselves or thinking we're less than or being envious and jealous of what somebody has been born with. It's a gift that they were birthed with. And when we realize who we are and what we're capable of, it's like growth. What is growth? When you are growing into yourself, it's not about I'm gonna prove them wrong, I'm this and I'm that. Surprise them, because you're gonna surprise the fuck out of yourself, like, oh shit, I did that, I can't believe I just reacted to that. Because we must be me. Surprise them by doing, and what you're doing is being. So when you grow into yourself, what people say, oh, you're doing too much. No, honey, I'm this is my existence. I'm being. And sometimes some people come with a brighter light than others. It doesn't mean you're less than. It just means they have become one with themselves further back, and you're just coming in. And why is this bright light coming into your life when yours is just coming into focus? Those are gifts from God to help you advance, because you were stuck for a while. Your light is just starting to come on. So here comes that beam and says, hey, how you doing? you know and many of us, what you don't control your worlds, because many of us will be like starting up that ladder, and their light is sometimes flickering, but it's a steady dull light, but they still know where they're going. It's bright enough to show them where their path is. And then they feel stuck for some reason. They believe they're stuck. Maybe they don't say it out loud, but they're thinking it or they're feeling it. Here comes your blessing you prayed for, and it's a bright light. And instead of embracing that bright light, like, thank you, because this is what I've been putting out to the universe, we envy it. Like, oh, look at, they're trying to come and show off that their light is brighter than ours. Don't cut your own blessings and then blame everyone around you. That's part of growth. That's a part of something that I loathe in people. And the weird thing about me loathing, like I can tell you that it'll make me want to vomit. How much I loathe that insecurity in people, that I seem to be a fucking magnet for those people. So I don't know. And it happens, and
Oh,
it's
what's the
like the movie
lesson?
The Sixth Sense, where he's like, I see dead people, but they don't know they're dead. That's how my reality of
I
how I
see
feel.
victims, but they don't know they're victims.
And the thing is that um
Ah,
you try, and I've worked with it, and I'd be like, all right, they're gonna come through there. It was sent to me for a reason, because long ago I've accepted the fact that I am that messenger, I'm that vessel. But what I'm saying is, we're gonna mess up. We might be in control, like we rule our world. Yes, this is true. But we are compassionate individuals, and we're going to not people like, don't let your guard down. It's not about letting our guard down, but sometimes we have to hunker down and meet somebody where we're at, and offer them something, whether it's a hello, a smile, a hand up so they can get up from the floor, a couple dollars. And that sometimes it it makes us become a peasant other than a king. And sometimes we need to play all roles, as the badass Buddha said. We need to be that court jester, but she didn't mention a peasant. And the peasants are the foundation of every single kingdom that has ever existed. So when
I
people are like,
played
oh,
that
you're a
role a
peasant,
lot.
and I am proud, and I love those peasant outfits. I'll wear a peasant outfit
Oh,
that's
yeah,
full of
me
silk
too.
and satin anytime. So sometimes we need to play all the roles in our life, because God sends us people for us to learn from or to
Yeah,
teach,
I
from us
agree.
to gain or for us to give. So rule your world with empathy, with compassion, with gratitude. And when you do anything for anyone outside of yourself, do it with good intentions. And the rewards that come around you, the people you will meet going forward, you're breaking boundaries, not only for the person you're helping, but for yourself. Because good only begets good. So with that,
Yay. So with that, thank you so much for being here today. Thursday, we're going to talk about observe and absorb. So this is going to be a really cool thing. It's observing your life and absorbing your truth and observing others as well. You know, people that you see that you believe are very that emphasis that represent the person that you'd like to be, because mirroring that is also really important as well. So that's where the observe and absorb is going to come into play, but especially your own truth, discovering yourself and that accountability piece. So thank you for being here. And we will see you on Thursday, everyone. So from the Badass Buddha, remember, be you, be real, and be extraordinary.
yes, but before we leave, I just two comments I just saw from Chanel.
Okay.
She said she rules her world, but she don't rule her job yet, so she has to go to a damn meeting. Blah. Love you. Have a blessed and health. Yes, you too, Chanel. And Rita wrote so true. I was explaining that people are not always happy when you are doing good for yourself, and don't feel bad that they are not excited for you. And that's the key that many forget. I can't believe they ain't happy, because you know what? We all get caught up in that wave, and I'm one, because you know what? I was like, why do I let it bother me? That insecure. And you know what? It's not. It's because I wouldn't do that to them. So I get disappointed, and it comes out in the only way I know how. And so you need to learn how to differentiate that as well. But that's so true. And you know what? When you can overcome that, and I don't get upset with everybody, it's just certain people that should know better that try to take me to the edge of that cliff where I want to throw them over. But with that, remember mi gente, breathe in the beauty and breathe out the bullshit. Namaste. Have a wonderful day. See you all on Thursday.